Welcome, everybody. How we doing? I am very excited. We have been working extremely hard as the Green Party of Ontario, doing our best to make sure that we are ready for this day. Are you ready for this day? Yeah! The thing that we have been doing is talking about things and policies that matter to people. But what's really important is that to be a Green is to know that there is an urgency to what has to happen in this province now. There is an urgency to the climate. There is an urgency to affordability. There is an urgency to making sure that people get mental health, because mental health is health. So these are the things we care about. But what we really work the hardest for is the fact that we have, and I have worked with lots of politicians, I truly believe this is one of the most quality politicians you will ever meet in your life. He has integrity. He has honesty. He is a hard-working man, a one-man opposition party at Queen's Park, and he wants a little company when he goes back again on June 2nd. So, ladies and gentlemen, would you please welcome the Green Party leader in Ontario, Mr. Mike Schreiner.
Well, I tell you what, our EVs are charged up. Are you all charged up? Are you ready to go? Awesome. Can we give a quick shout out for these amazing Ontario Green candidates in the room today? So I just want to begin by acknowledging that we're meeting today on the Treaty 13 lands of the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation, and that we know that Toronto is home to many diverse First Nation, Inuit, and Métis peoples. And I just want to reaffirm the Ontario Green Party's commitment to the truth and reconciliation process. And I also want to express my gratitude for what I've learned from the 7 generations that have preceded us to inform the decisions we make each and every day to protect the 7 generations that will follow us. Can I give a shout out to Bamba Tea for hosting us this morning? Has anybody checked out their menu, their commitment to environmental sustainability and just building community? I especially love the deposit return system that you have for your cups and mugs. I want to make sure I'm a part of that as I travel to Queen's Park, and as I travel with these other Green candidates to Queen's Park. We're going to come down and enjoy some tea with you. So here we are. Here we are at the most important election of our lifetime. It is clear that it is now or never to address the climate crisis. Yeah. It is clear that we have to address the housing affordability crisis. And after the last 2 years of what we've all been through, trying and turbulent times, the pandemic has revealed the cracks in the systems of care, from jobs to health care to housing. It's clear that everything is not okay and that we have to address the mental health crisis. We have to act now. We cannot afford to wait. And so I'm so excited to be running as an Ontario Green with this amazing group of candidates, because the bottom line is the old parties are just not getting the job done. Half measures or no measures, especially when it comes to addressing the climate crisis, will not leave a livable future for our children. And so that's why I am so proud of the Ontario Greens climate plan to crush climate pollution and make this province a global leader in the new climate economy. You know, we're going to crush transportation emissions by building communities that you can afford to live in and not have to be a part of these long, soul-crushing, expensive commutes. We're going to make transit affordable and triple transit use in the next 10 years. We're going to make it easier for the average person to afford electric vehicles so you don't have to, so you can get big oil out of your pockets. We're going to make it easier for people to renovate their homes so they can save money by saving energy. And we're going to support industry to lower their carbon footprint and create new job and career opportunities for people in the new climate economy. That's what Ontario Greens will deliver. Real solutions to the old problems we are facing, especially when it comes to expanding health care. We are the first party, and I am so proud to say that we are the first party that recognizes that everything is not okay when it comes to people's mental health. We recognize that it's completely unacceptable that 28,000 young people are on a wait list up to 18 months, sometimes 2.5 years to access mental health services. You know, in the last election, I ran into a young man, and I asked him, how are you doing? You know, when you're main streeting and you kind of ask people, how are you doing? And he said to me, I'm doing okay. A mental health worker reached out to me last night, but it would have been nice if they had reached out to me a year ago when I was on suicide watch. Waiting a year to access the mental health care you need is completely unacceptable, and that's why I'm so proud the Ontario Greens were the first party in Ontario history to put forward a mental health strategy to make mental health services available under OHIP. We are leading the way on so many issues, and it's interesting on this one, the NDP followed us a month later. The only difference being we're going to be honest with you about how we're going to pay to expand mental health services, and unfortunately they're not. But that's the kind of leadership that Ontario Greens are providing as we talk about building the Ontario you all want. For decades, the old parties have failed to address the housing affordability crisis. You know, when the provincial and federal governments got out of funding housing in the mid-1990s, the crisis has been slowly getting worse and worse each and every year, and it's now reached a breaking point. We have a whole generation of young people wondering if they'll ever be able to afford a place to call home. And that's why I'm so proud of our housing affordability strategy that some have described as a master class in delivering the solutions we need to make sure everybody in this province has an affordable place to call home. And it starts with getting rampant speculation out of the housing market so first-time home buyers have a level playing field to realize their dream of home ownership. Because we believe that housing is for people, not speculators. We will build communities where people can live, work, play, and shop locally. Let's be clear. We can address the housing affordability crisis and stop the sprawl at the same time. We don't have to build on the farmland that feeds us or the wetlands that protect our drinking water and protect us from flooding. So I say to Doug Ford, stop the sprawl. And we're going to make it easier. We're going to make it easier for people to build duplexes and triplexes and quadplexes so we can have gentle density, so people have housing options in the communities they love. They can build tiny homes and secondary suites and laneway housing to give people more choices and options to live in the communities they love. We're going to make it easier to build purpose-built rental and multi-residential spaces along transit ways so we don't have to choose between tall or sprawl, and we can build the communities we want in this province. Yeah. Communities where you can access the goods and services you need with a 15-minute walk, bike ride, or transit ride. And finally, we need to have the government come back to the table and support nonprofit co-op and social housing. Our commitment to build 160,000 affordable rental spaces across this province is the solution our communities need, including 60,000 permanent supportive housing spaces with wraparound mental health, addictions, and other supports so we can end homelessness in Ontario. The choice is clear. The choice is clear. I want to be very clear with you that we are here as Ontario Greens to earn your vote, not buy your vote. I'm proud to say I was the only MPP to vote against Doug Ford's license plate gimmick, because we know gimmicks are not going to solve the challenges we face in this province. Gimmicks are not going to address the climate crisis and leave a livable future for our children. Gimmicks are not going to provide the housing solutions people need or the access to mental health supports they need. So in this election, Ontarians have a choice. You can go backwards and support the old line parties, or you can move forward by electing more Ontario Greens, the Ontario Greens that are standing on this stage with me today, the MPPs that are going to go to Queen's Park delivering new solutions to old problems, because that's the Ontario people want us to build. And these are the candidates who are going to provide the solutions. And so my daughter is here today. She's joining me on our very first day of the tour. And when I look her in the eye, and I think about this every day I go to Queen's Park, when I look her and other children in the eye, I want them to know that I did everything. Ontario Greens did everything. The people on this stage did everything possible to address the climate emergency and leave them a livable future. A future where they can afford to own a home. A future where they have access to high-quality education and good health care and mental health services. The future that they want to build, because this team is providing the leadership to deliver the Ontario you want. Thank you, everyone. We're going to go out over the next month, and we're going to elect more Greens to Queen's Park because of the hard work each and every one of you are doing each and every day on this campaign. So let's get to work. Can you give it up for these amazing candidates one more time? One more time. One more time. This is the leadership Ontario needs to deliver the Ontario you want. So give it up for these amazing candidates.